Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. We're going to spend a little time here going over your guided note pages. The first one is 2.7, dividing decimals with models. Number 1 says shade the grids to model 4 and 4800ths. Separate the model into 4 groups. How many are in each group? So here we know the number of groups. We're looking for the size of each group. Group size unknown. Okay? I went ahead and colored, and I actually did this one just to save a little bit of time. We're shading in 4 and 4800ths. 1 holes, 2 holes, 3 holes, 4 holes, and I went ahead and shaded in 48. Remember, each row is 10, so 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 8 more. We're separating these into 4 groups. So group 1 is, and each of our 4 groups is going to have 1 hole. And we can look at this here. We took care of the ones place. We took the 4 divided by 4 groups, put 1 in each group. Now we need to take the 4800ths and divide that into 4 groups. Mathematically, we know 48 divided by 4 is going to be 12. So 4800ths divided into 4 groups is going to put 12 hundredths in each group. So I went ahead and I started circling. Looks like, I did label group 1 down here. So I circled 12 for group 1, 12 for group 2, 12 for group 3, and 12 for group 4. How many are in each group? 1 and 12 hundredths. Okay, so there's 4 groups of 1 and 4 groups of 12 hundredths. All right, number 2. If you haven't done these, I would like you to at least try them and then come back to check your answers. Number 2 says shade grids to model 6 and 4200ths. Separate the models into groups of 2 and 1400ths. How many groups is there a remainder left over? So this time we know the size of each group. We don't know how many groups there are. So I started out by shading 6 holes and 4200ths. Okay, so I shaded my 6 holes and my 4200ths. So we need to separate them into groups of 2 and 1400ths. Okay, well these 2 makes group 1, and then I need to go get 1400ths to go with that. So I went over here, I counted 14 of those hundredths, and I put group 1. Next group of 2 and 1400ths, there's the 2 holes. Went over here and I counted another 1400ths. And I got a little messed up because I forgot these 2 right here. I was counting to 12 instead of 14 because I had this problem in my head from above. So, excuse me, these 2 right here belong to group 2 as well. And then your last group, third group here, 2 holes, and then you're left with these last 1400ths. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so it's all of those. It's hard to write with the pen or you're going to cover them up. So there's your last one. How many groups are there? There's 3 groups. Were there any left over? No, we used them all. All right, last problem. Shade the grids to model 4 and 5900ths. Separate the model into groups of 1 and 700ths. How many groups? Is there a remainder? If so, how many? All right, so we went ahead and shaded the 4 and 5900ths. We need to separate the model into groups of 1 and 700ths. All right, got to be careful on this one. I'll warn you ahead of time. Groups of 1 and 700ths. All right, so group 1 is going to have 1 hole and 700ths. Okay, good luck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So go like that. Whew, so far so good. Then we're going to go group 2. Has a hole and 700ths. Group 2. Group 3, 1 hole and 700ths. And then group 4 is going to have 1 whole and 7 hundredths. Take those 4 and those 3 to make group 4. All right. Can I make another group of 1 and 7 hundredths? No, I don't have any more 1s. So, how many groups are there? Well, I have 4 groups. Is there a remainder? Yes. How many? That's going to be the question. So, we can do it a couple of different ways. We can look at the 4 groups of 7 that we've used. So my 4 groups of 7 that I've used would be 28. I started out with 59. Okay, so I could subtract those and I could find out that I have a remainder of 31. 31 hundredths are still left over. So my answer here is going to be 4 groups with a remainder of 31. All right. All right, guys. Now that we've done the 2.7 guided notes, you're at the 2.7 guided practice. I'd like you to pause the video and take a few minutes and solve these 3 problems, drawing the model, shading it in, and getting those groups. Okay, please go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and show you the answers to those so that you can check them, but please pause the video now. Solve those 3 problems, and then come back to check that you got your answers correct. All right, guys, welcome back. Hopefully you took the time to solve these. Make sure that you're understanding and doing them correctly. Right here is the answers for those. Using your models, number 1, you ended up with 3 groups with a remainder of 5. Number 2, you ended up with 5 groups of 1 and 4/10. 5 groups of 1 and 4/10 is 7 wholes. And down here, last, you got 4 and 95 hundredths divided by 3, left you with 1 and 65 hundredths. Okay. If you have any questions on those, as always, make sure to ask.